Dodds Furniture's The Show is brought to you by Dodds Furniture and Mattress. Now open in Nanaimo.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Matt Carter and welcome to episode number 52 of the show right here on SHAWT TV. Our musical guest right behind me, it's not TJ Oshie from the St. Louis Blues, but it's actually TJ and Oliver from No Operator, a progressive rock band, been very, very busy here on Vancouver Island over the last couple of years. They're going to tell us more about some of their new music, as well as have an interview with our resident smooth operator, Andrew Roberts, later on. It's on today's show. Also on today's show, Merv Unger is going to find out what is happening with the Central and Northern Vancouver Island chapter of the United Way with Representative SIGNY MADDEN. We're going to find out more about the 5th annual Walk of Nations taking place down in the Cowichan Valley. It's an event that celebrates the legacy of the 2008 North American Indigenous Games, as well as celebrating the diversity down in the Cowichan Valley. Anna BOSA will have all the details on that. Anna also has a segment on gluten-free baking. We'll be sampling some tasty treats in the studio. And for your information, after the cameras are turned off, Bob FENTY and I are going to fight to the death for the last of these tasty treats. And speaking of Bob, before he beats me up in the pursuit of a pastry, he'll be introducing us to a Vancouver Island writer and an avid motorcyclist, Elizabeth Munro. I'm glad she's a motorcyclist and not a sailor, because then all of her friends would walk behind her saying, "Munro, Munro, Munro, your boat. It's gently down the stream." All right, I got one laugh there. All right, we're also going to actually, on a serious side, take a serious look at the topic of brain injuries. Joan HERRON will speak with Mark BUSBY of the Nanaimo Brain Injury Society, and we'll also meet a brain injury survivor. We're also going to recognize that there's some very darn smart, talented, and dedicated young adults out there making their mark on Vancouver Island. LORRAINE JENSEN is going to find out more by meeting with Angie, Barnard, an award recipient for the Young Entrepreneurs Award, as well as we'll meet Roger McKinnon. He's the founder of the Top 20 Under 40 Awards. And Todd Jones, unfortunately, you're just missed that one, but so very close. Just like your hockey team. My hockey team didn't do well either. All right, to kick things off, LORRAINE Jensen's going to be kicking things off with Hilary Malone. She's a cook and a writer, and she does feel at home on a boat. She's a co-author of a new cookbook called Sea Salt. And this book, it's about as Vancouver Island as you can get. So fire up the grill. I can't stand still. It's the show right here on SHAW TV.
My guest is Hilary Malone, and Hilary is one of the co-writers of this book, and she is one of a trio of women that have written this book, and she's one of the two daughters of the mother-daughter team that have written this book. It's called Sea Salt, Recipes from the West Coast Galley. Welcome, Hilary.
Thank you very much for having me.
This is a beautiful book.
Thank you.
And this was published and printed right here in Canada.
It was done by the amazing people at Harbour Publishing.
This is a lovely, lovely book. So you and your mother and your sister have come together and written a book about cooking
on the boat in the galley kitchen. Really the idea came from my mom. My parents are avid sailors, and we grew up in a food-loving household. There's always a cause for celebration in our house, and we come together around food. So the sailboat really came around. My parents moved here, built it on the island in Sydney, and we spent our summers sailing and just learned how to cook on the boat and learned how to properly cook for sailing recreationally and for racing situations.
Nice. You call yourself foodies and boaters.
Foodies and boaters,
so
absolutely.
One of the recipes in this book is something you're going to show us today, and so why don't you...
So today I'm going to be showing you the West Coast trail bars out of our racing section. This recipe came to idea because we spent years with the sailors doing nuts and trail mixes and everything, and we'd end up with an amazing amount of nuts after the race was done. So what I'm going to be doing here is we've got quick cooking oats. We've taken 1 cup of that, and I've processed it into a fine, almost flour powder. This is really going to be an amazing binding agent in this trail bar. This is finely ground oats. We've also also got some whole oats in there. That's just going to be a nice addition for texture. So we'll put this all in a big bowl here. Next, I'm going to be adding our beautiful seeds and nuts. You know, you can see flax seeds, sesame seeds, pumpkin seeds, and you know, this allows for a lot of flexibility too. You know, a lot of us have some stuff left in the freezer. We'll add that in.
Wow, that looks very healthy.
It is, and it is so filling. So lastly, we've got some beautiful locally grown dried cranberries and some dried apple. We've just coarsely chopped that up. So in my pot here, I've just taken this off the stove. We've got some brown sugar. We've got Frederick's local honey. It's a beautiful product, so fragrant. And we've got some butter. And you're just going to want to heat that until it is smooth and that the brown sugar is no longer granule. So we'll mix this in. Super simple.
I like super simple.
Well, especially when you're on a boat and you've got a small quarters.
Oh, it doesn't matter for me.
Fair enough. So we'll mix this through just so you can see that all of the dry ingredients have become moist and it's well incorporated. Then I'm going to be putting it into a prepared pan here. I've got some parchment lined and we've sprayed it with some pan spray just to ensure that we can get this out afterwards. I've preheated an oven to 300 degrees and this will pop this in and it'll take about 30 minutes or so to cook. But everybody's oven is a little bit different, especially ovens on board. So this might be one you want to make ahead or just make sure that your oven temperature is correct.
Great. Okay, so we are going to put this in the oven and we're going to go and spend some time with Merv Unger and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Perfect.
Thank you very much, Lorraine. Boy, oh boy, when you talk about sticking around after the show and eating, watching it from here, that's quite something. We'll have to check it out later. My guest at this time is SIGNY MADDEN of the United Way of, that's Nanaimo and surrounding areas. And the United Way campaign is from September to December, but really the work starts now. What does the United Way do in Nanaimo, SIGNY?
Thanks for having me on the show, Merv. The United Way has been in our community for 55 years, and we are leaders in understanding the social issues emerging and the long-term social issues and channeling money and volunteer time, donors' passion into solving those problems by funding programs in the community. So we've been around 55 years. Our job is to connect passionate donors who want to make a change in the community to programs on the ground, making a difference in the lives of kids, seniors, adults in our community or who are vulnerable or having problems.
And as you say, it's been around for over 50 years, and through the years, it has been noted that instead of 15 or 20 groups all doing fundraising campaigns, if you do one central campaign, you can spread it out. Now, as we said, the last campaign ended in December.
That's right.
And the work starts now. But actually, you've been working on stuff right since the end of the last campaign, getting all the applications in.
That's right. So we fund on a one-year cycle. And so we just went through the process of receiving applications. We had over 100 applications from 90 agencies. And we know there's going to be a lot. You know, the request for funding is higher than ever this year. We've got child poverty issues, there's a great deal of issues around literacy, still around homelessness, and so we're just going through the process. We have volunteers who are experts in the community who sit down with us, they go through all these applications, and they help us choose who should get funded.
Now, when you mentioned there have been 90 applications, how many do you usually wind up funding?
So right now, funding till the end of the summer, we fund 26 programs run by 22 different agencies in the Central Island area. Now we do fund outside of Nanaimo. We run all the way up to Campbell River and through the Comox Valley, but in the Central Island area, and that covers Ladysmith, Gabriola, Arrington, Nanaimo areas, we have 26 programs running from hospice, Haven, Boys and Girls Club, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, the whole gamut.
And I understand you have a program now called Change Starts Here.
So Change Starts Here is the actual name of our campaign each fall. So we talk about if people want to invest in their community, make a difference, make sure there's a really strong social network in place for people, your neighbors, your friends. We ask them to make the change here by investing in the community, and that's by making a donation.
And when you raise the funding, how do you raise the funding? How are people approached?
So it's a 4-month campaign. We kick off in September, and we have over 4,000 donors. And so in that time, we have to communicate with those donors either through our workplace campaigns. Costco's a really strong campaign. Future Shop. We've got some great workplaces. The banks are really supportive. VIU, VHA. So what we do is we have volunteers who work with us. They go out to the workplaces and they do the pitch, talk about why the funds are needed, what we're going to be doing with the money this year, and then we ask people to give.
And now that you are getting ready for the fall campaign,
right?
I guess you need a lot of people to help out, the volunteers.
Exactly, and so every year we ask people to join us on the campaign cabinet, and so we ask people either from their workplace if they want to take on a workplace campaign, or to join our corporate campaign team, or people from the labor movement actually usually come on and join us. So we'll have a campaign team and they go out and help us raise funds.
And what's the target for this year?
In terms of dollars?
Yes.
So we raised just over $1 million over the 3 communities that we work in, 700,000 in Nanaimo, so we're trying to raise over 750 this year. And so, okay, you know, we need a good group to join us to help us raise the dollars.
Well, thank you very much and good luck with that. And let's get back to the candies.
Thanks, Mervyn.
I'm back with Hilary Malone, and this is what we just put into the oven. And Hilary, this is what we've just taken out.
This is what we've just taken out, our trail bars. I like to let these rest on a nice rack.
Did they shrink?
They didn't. I think your crew must have eaten some. So we're just going to cut them up into a nice size. We like to do a little larger because everybody always needs to be well fed out there. Just put these up, and perfect timing for the Swiftsure and Van Al 360 races that are coming about here shortly.
Excellent.
Yes.
So the 3 of you have written this book.
We have.
And it is on the bookshelves already.
Yes.
And you are going to be doing a book signing on June the 1st at Nanaimo Maps and
Charts down on Commercial Street from 2 to 3:30.
Okay.
Yes.
So tell me, what else would you tell me about this book?
You know, I'd say it came about through sailing. That was our vehicle, but really anybody who is also in a small space, or people who just love to cook nice, healthy, hearty, and simple fare will also enjoy this. We used a lot of local producers. This is an island book, and it was made with a lot of love. It took a while to produce.
I heard 3 years?
Yes, 3 years of writing, testing, a lot of eating.
That sucks.
It wasn't the worst, but yeah, so it was a labor of love for all of us.
And all 3 of you have a different role to play. Like your mother, Lorna, she came up with the recipes, and she'd been using these recipes over the years. Is that correct?
She's our sailor, so she'd certainly been using these recipes when she was feeding the racing crews. My sister, as an amazing writer, and wrote everything, all of our introductions. She did a really amazing job. And in collaboration with my mom and I, we developed the recipes using old ones and new ones that we developed for the book. But some of them are standbys that we've used for crews of 12 over long legs on the West Coast.
And so what's your participation in this?
I was the recipe development. Well, Mom and I were collaborators.
And you actually are just finishing up at VIU, is that correct?
I am finishing up my culinary certificate up at VIU, and I'm looking forward to going back for the diploma next year.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. This is fabulous. So here's my big question. How is it working mother and 2 daughters?
It works famously. We each have our own role, and you know, in collaboration, it's come out really well. It's taken a while because we've all been busy, but we're really happy with the product, and you know, so far it seems like everybody enjoys it as well.
Excellent.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hilary. So I would like to just once again say that if you want to come down to the book signing on June the 1st, it is at Nanaimo Maps and Charts on Commercial Street from 2 to 3:30. Thank you again, Hilary.
Thank you. Love to see everybody down there.
And we'll get to taste these afterwards. And in the meantime, we are going to wrap it up now and pass it over to a new operator performing Lay of the Land.
Aspen sway in a coolie retreat below the desolate plains. Spring Chinook ricochets off the sandstone cliffs on a warm spring day. Now I know the difference between discontent and living in a world that I don't know. Understand my heart is ups and downs, as does the lay of the land. Oh, 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 stretch towards a damp, cold night, embracing foggy lows and reaching moonlit skies. Mountain peaks reveal a touch of snow that the coastal rains will not permit below. Now I know the highs and lows in life that cause us strife. But does it count? Have we found the things that we want most? We just can't hold. Oh, 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 cottonwoods, Aspen sway. Ricochets off the sandstone cliffs on a warm spring day. Now I know the difference between discontent and living in a world that I don't know. And I don't understand. My heart is ups and downs, as does the lay of the land.
Thank you so much, No Operator. That was awesome. And it is my pleasure today to introduce Ryan Bruce, who is here with us, and he is on the organizing committee of the 5th Annual Walk of Nations. And that's going to be happening here, not here, I take that back. It's going to be happening in Duncan on June 1st. Welcome.
Thank you for having me here,
It's
Hannah.
a pleasure to have you. And can you explain a little bit about the Walk of Nations for our audience?
Absolutely. The Walk of the Nations is a legacy, an event we started about 5 years ago as a result of the 2008 North American Indigenous Games, which were hosted in Cowichan. And the Games invited young Aboriginal athletes from across North America to compete in sports and celebrate culture.
Which is great, yeah.
It's fantastic, yeah. And the real, there are a lot of successes of the Games, but the real success of the Games for the community was the participation from volunteers. We had roughly 3,500 volunteers from all walks of life and all generations coming together to host the Games. Yeah, it was really awesome. Something else.
Yes.
And so we wanted to build a legacy which was kind of continue to strengthen those relationships that were built and continue to raise people's understanding and awareness about First Nation culture and some of the challenges that we're facing on and off reserves.
Right.
And so we've continued this walk, and this is the 5th annual.
5th annual, that's awesome. Now, schools. You mentioned to me earlier that schools are becoming a little bit more involved in the walk. Can you explain a little bit about how they help?
Yeah, for sure. It's our feeling that if we're going to continue to build relationships and see some significant change over the years in terms of understanding and awareness, a great place to start is with the young kids. And I know personally myself, I grew up with a lot of First Nation friends, and started to learn the culture, and you just didn't see any differences, you know. Right. And so what we're trying to do, and we do this leading up to the walk, is we engage with the elementary schools, and we sort of do a little school spirit contest where we encourage them to come out and show up with their colors and banners.
Right. Yes, of course, because they all have their colors.
That's right. Yeah. And we've got a school spirit contest where there's a drum with the Walk of the Nations logo painted on it, and the school that comes with the most spirit, with a couple of categories that we set up, gets to hold the drum for the next year. And
what do you mean by hold the drum for the next year?
Well, they get to hang it in their gymnasium or in their front of their school as they walk in. Wow. And we had a great experience last year after the walk. Actually, Alex Aiken was the winner of the drum previously.
Was he?
And
the school.
The school was, yeah. And Bench School had won it the next year. And the teachers organized a sort of a ceremonial drum passing. And invited
that's interesting.
Yeah, invited out the young Zinqua dancers to perform in all their regalia and drums and danced. And for us as a walk committee, it was amazing because they brought up these young students and they danced together, the friendship song. And
they probably really, it kind of drives it home. It enforces it for
really
them, doesn't it?
Yeah, for us that was one of the greatest successes we've had since the walk started, and we can really see how this legacy, from the North American Indigenous Games is living on through the walk.
Now, you guys are there's an event coming up May 25th, is that correct?
Yes, May 25th.
You're doing a fundraiser?
That's right. The young professionals of Cowichan are hosting a fundraiser, which will be the money will go towards putting the Walk of the Nations on. We have free food for everybody. It's a free event for anybody who wants to come.
That's awesome.
The gala is a Coast Salish art show on May 25th. And there'll be a silent auction and some entertainment.
And to help promote for the Walk of Nations, which is June 1st, correct?
That's right.
Where is it at?
June 1st at VIU in Duncan. And we're going to rally at about 10:30, and we're going to get the walk, which is a symbolic walk through town, starting at about 11 o'clock with a program and entertainment afterwards.
Excellent. So, everyone, let's go do the Walk of Nations.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Ryan. I really appreciate your coming here and chatting with us about it. That's awesome. And now we're going to go to Matt with a recap.
I want to operate the camera. Oh, sorry. Thanks so much, Anna. All right. Always a very, very good plan indeed to go for a walk, but especially so if it does represent a wonderful celebration. Great stuff down there in the Cowichan Valley. All right, we're going to be celebrating many more great stories here on the show in this episode. Stay tuned. You're about to meet a great author. You're going to meet some wonderful musicians, a brain injury survivor. You're also going to meet a master of gluten-free baking and some champions of young entrepreneurs.
Don't mind me. I'm just doing some sweeping around the place. Sorry, get out of your way.
I don't know who let Pat Falloon on the stage, but that's just ridiculous. All right, Canucks 2014. As mentioned, I'm a big fan of hockey, not this year, but I am a big fan of jazz as well. And so I am excited to steal a bit of screen time right here to not talk about the San Jose Sharks, but to talk about the annual Jazz Affair concert and fundraiser taking place in Nanaimo on Friday, May the 31st. This event's going to feature a number of excellent high school ensembles as well as a yearly rotating list of top-notch professionals and themes. And the theme this year is Los Angeles. And so the headliner is an award-winning LA-based vocalist, SARA GAZAREK. or GAZAREK, let's call the whole thing off. She's actually one of the top jazz singers in the United States, so really, really awesome to have her up here in Nanaimo. She'll be accompanied by an all-star BC rhythm section featuring Jody Prosnick, Tilden Webb, and Hans Verhoeven. A really, really amazing group. You'll also be treated to the sounds of the Nanaimo Musicians Association Big Band and student big bands and combos from Wellington Secondary and Qualicum Secondary. So again, this is a great collection of awesome music, food, and a silent auction, all to support local jazz students so you don't have to raise some funds for scholarships and festival fees and much, much more. So check it out, Jazz Affair LA, Friday, May 31st, starting at 6 p.m. down at the BEBAN Park Social Center. Get your tickets at Fascinating Rhythm, Seadrift Fish Market at Terminal Park, Arbutus Music, and Guava at Woodgrove Center. Check out friendsofnanaimojazz.com, or sorry, friendsofjazznanaimo.com for more information. All right, now that I'm done talking all that jazz, let's go from music to literature and meet an author. So send it over to Bob FENTY to introduce us to author Elizabeth Munro. Bob, over to you.
Thank you very much, Matt, and welcome to the show. As Matt mentioned, we have Elizabeth Munro, who is a Nanaimo author. Welcome to the show, Elizabeth, and glad to have you here.
Thank you, Bob.
And before we get going here, I do have to say a huge big thank you from our Rotary Club for those new copies of books that you brought out over for our book sale. They went really, really well.
Oh, wonderful.
But tell me now, how many novels have you written?
I've released 4 novels in the past 2 years. They're all fantasy. The heroine in all 4 books is a Nanaimo girl riding a motorcycle. The trilogy, The Chronicles of Anna, the last book came out in September. The new book, Wingspan, was just released in May.
We'll talk about that in just a minute.
We'll talk about that one, yeah.
But now you mentioned a lot of those books, and there's a number of them that have appeared on the top 10 of iTunes and Kobo and so on. Tell us about some of those.
Correct. Deadly Expectations has been number 2 in contemporary fantasy on iTunes. And the new one debuted at number 7 in contemporary fantasy, which was really exciting to see.
So now these are all fantasy stories?
Correct, correct. The trilogy has time travel, reincarnation, superpowers, all sorts of neat things like that.
How do you come up with this ideas of the fantasy?
The fantasy, I've always preferred fantasy. I love to read anything that I'm not going to run into on my way to work. So it's always attracted me through Stephen King, Kuntz, Lord of the Rings.
All of those, they're all great authors.
All of those things are absolutely great.
You know, there's one in particular, actually she's just written this one, folks, and I'm going to hold it up for the camera. Wingspan is a fantasy love story, and it's a brand new one, just been published, has it not, Elizabeth?
Yes.
Just recently out?
Yes, new release in the past 30 days.
There you go.
Yes.
So there's a good one for you to get, folks, and I'll tell you where to do that in just a minute. But now, griffins is a topic or an item that gets played up in your books. Tell us a little bit, what is a griffin?
Absolutely. A griffin is part eagle and part lion, so they are kings of the sky and kings of the earth. So there's a big duality with them. My griffins are also shape-shifting, so they have a human side and a griffin side, which gives me lots of opportunities.
And I hear your daughter is here tonight with us
Yes.
as well, and she was saying that there could be griffins here with us right now?
There could be griffins here with us. Humans can't see griffins when they're shape-shifted. They have magic and we can't see them.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So how did you come up with griffins? Where did that come from?
Griffins, I thought I wanted to do something new with shapeshifters, and I believe that griffins were actually the Munro crest. I was mistaken, they're eagles, but I had my griffins and I loved them, so I kept them.
So now, as a writer, and I know you probably could ask this a lot.
Yes.
How do you get yourself into the mood to be that creative and ability to start writing and putting pen to paper?
Yeah, no, I've found I'm always thinking, always plotting. I lie awake at night with stories running through my head, and
all night long you're awake?
I toss and turn some nights, and I need to get it down in the computer just to
So you
move
get up
on to
in the
something
morning
else.
and you crank up the computer?
I get up in the morning and I should be making lunches and I'm writing
good
before
for you.
work. Yeah.
Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining us today on the show. I wish you all the success in the world, sorry.
Yes.
And viewers, make sure that you seek out some of Elizabeth's books. The website is showing on the screen right now, so make sure you go there and look for those. And now let's roll on over to Andrew and talk to the musicians. Away you go, Andrew.
Thanks, Bob. It's a good thing. Whoa! It's a good thing you weren't It's a good thing you weren't interviewing Where's Waldo author Martin Hanford, because he's got a restraining order out against the show's own Matt Carter. Apparently, Matt, got really upset he could never find Waldo. Things got a little out of hand, and well, that's a story for a whole nother segment. So, I'm here with TJ from No Operator. Thanks for being here, TJ.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. So, awesome. Yeah, thanks for playing those songs. And you guys have been around the scene, the Nanaimo music scene, since about 2009.
Yeah, that's right.
You put out a CD.
Yeah, we put out a CD, Weather and War. I guess that would have been last August, I believe, we put it out. Before that, me and Oliver have been playing together for probably since about 2008.
2008. You got some new recordings happening?
We do, actually. We just finished them. You can find them online, NanaimoMusicBandcamp.com. And there's 2 tracks on there. One of them we're going to be playing tonight, and the other one's called State Your Allegiance. So we're pretty happy with those, and excited to start writing again.
Perfect. Well, now you've obviously it's the duo that you're playing with right now.
Yep.
No Operator as a band is quite a bit different at a bar or at a theater. Can you tell us a live experience of what it's like to see No Operator?
Yeah, it's definitely heavier riff rock, I guess, a little bit progressive, but we've got 4 members, Oliver, Steve, and we've also got Dave, drummer, and pretty energetic show, lots of riffs, lots of heavy stuff, so we try and tone her back for acoustic and try and hit all crowds when we can. So
perfect. Where can people see you play?
We are playing May 31st at Nanaimo Center Stage. There's a 2-day festival there called Vancouver Island Throwdown. We're playing the first night, which is the 31st, and there's going to be bands like the 80th Action. There's going to be The Day He Quit, a bunch of other bands, and then the second night there's going to be Ninja Spies playing. They're pretty big on the West Coast, and as well as Trace the Skies, and there's a whole slew of good bands. After that, we're playing June 7th with Trace the Sky at the Canby, which should be really fun as well.
At the Canby, excellent.
Yep,
well,
yep.
I'm going to try and make that show for sure.
Awesome.
You guys are planning to enter the Cellar Launch project in the Fox Seeds competitions?
Yep. Fox Seeds is kind of why we recorded those the 2 tracks, was for the sake of that. The Cellar, I guess that'll be to be determined, but hopefully good results. We're in the finale, so hopefully that goes well.
The Fox Seeds usually has about 500 bands try out for these things, so I wish you guys good luck.
Thank you.
It's a big competition to win for sure.
Awesome.
So yeah, make sure you guys check out No Operator on Facebook, facebook.com/No Operator. So yeah, and you guys are going to play a song?
Yeah, this one's called Sitka. It's one of our new ones.
Perfect. Take it away,
awesome.
Guys.
Thanks. Sitka silhouettes grow as the sun starts setting, and I remember to go home, but I keep forgetting. Why can't I? Why can't I spend my nights with the wolves? And I'm howling for companions in the cold, and I need you here now. I've been waiting in the dark. Together we can learn how to read the burning stars, to get us home. Can we go home? Sitka silhouettes grow, and as the sun starts setting,
get to you by memory. And I need you here now. I've been waiting in the dark. Together we can learn how to read the burning stars, to get us home. Can we go home? And I need you here now. I've been waiting in the dark. Together we can learn how to read the burning stars. And we can finally go Can we go home?
My guests are Roger McKinnon and Angie Barnard. Welcome.
Thank you.
So 9 years ago, Angie, you were a guest in my home as you came through Nanaimo just on a visit when you were here from Australia with your husband. And 9 years later, you have just won an award with the Top 20 Under 40 Business and Community Achievement Awards. Could you tell me about it?
Well, it's been obviously an evolution for me in business. I partner with my husband and we have the Painted Turtle Guest House downtown. So we operate that day to day, but also own 2 commercial properties in the downtown. So we've been quite involved in downtown revitalization efforts over the last several years. And my passion is really community development and economic development. So I've also got involved in some high-profile community organizations. I was a mentor for the Women's Enterprise Center of British Columbia. And 18 months ago, I think it was, when we bumped into each other last on a regular basis, was organizing the Vision Rally for Nanaimo. And there were 4 key organizers involved in that. And that was really about raising the bar for leadership in our community. So those are a couple of key initiatives. Right now I'm chair on the marketing committee for the Vancouver Island Economic Summit coming up in October. So as I've gotten more and more sort of settled in Nanaimo, we have a young family now, and I have a lot of vested interest here. So for me, it's very important to give back to my community as I'm also achieving in business.
Fabulous, congratulations.
Thank you.
So Roger McKinnon is the founder of Top 20 Under 40 Business Community Achievement Awards. So why did Angie win this award? Now Angie didn't quite make it under 40. And so she won. It was the inaugural event this year. And so she won one of these special awards, one of 2 people to win a special award. So what was it about Angie that she got this award, Roger?
Well, I guess part of it, I really shouldn't say it, but Angie turned 40 last year, so during 2012, and you actually had to be 39 still to be one of the top 20 out of 40 business leaders and community leaders for the island. So it's not just Nanaimo, this was for all of Vancouver Island. So what we wanted to do is recognize some people that turned 40 during that year, and it only happened ever once. So there was two people that stood out in my mind and for the island, and Angie was certainly one of them. And the reasons being is what she's done for Nanaimo, the community involvement she's done, the business, you know, what they've done downtown and made their place down at Painted Turkle look fabulous. So there's, you know, that kind of stuff. And another person, John Watson, Economic Development Officer, he just turned 40 as well, from the Comox Valley, and same thing. He's in every kind of event up there, just like Angie is. You see her all the time. So they couldn't win the award and be one of the 20, so I just thought, with the judges, we decided, let's just go out and we'll make a special award, and it only happened ever once, which was this last year. So when we do it again next year, it'll just be the top 20 winners, and there won't be people that actually turned 40 because they should have won last year.
Well, that's sad because I'm just over 40 myself. What's so funny? So what is Top 20 Under 40? What is this? What is this about?
What is it? It's probably an extension, let's just say, of YPN, which is Young Professionals of Nanaimo, and then there's more of them all over the island now. So it's really just trying to recognize people that are 40 years old. So what happens otherwise is people like the Tom Harrises or myself or Dave Hammond or different people that have been out there for years doing a lot of charity work and a lot of the Rotary clubs and different people that keep, you know, have won a lot of the awards all the time. So it's really, how do we get the people under 40 to make sure that they keep going? So the whole idea is not just how well they're doing in business, but what are they doing? What are they doing for the community as well?
Nice.
So that's just as important. So somebody can be 37 years old and running a fabulous business, but doesn't do anything to help in the community itself. Well, they wouldn't win the award, because it's really important that, you know, they do the community stuff.
Okay, great. And so tell me quickly about, this was the very first event that you put on, and you had a guest speaker?
Yeah, we did. We had a guest speaker that we brought in, and it was, she's a pretty happy lady today, so it was Premier Christy Clark, so that was really good. And she talked about the future and talked about the kids and why it's so, I call them kids, why it's so important to have them involved and what they do, and it was an absolute fabulous night. We had a sellout, over 300 people, and it was a black tie event, and we had some other entertainment. And parts of it was when we introduced the top 100, because we chose 20, were chosen, we did the song "We Are the Champions." And
nice.
then we had Tina Turner come out and sing a lookalike, and when we did the top 20, and we had Simply the Best.
Wow.
So it was pretty interesting evening.
Now we have to wrap up, but I very quickly, what do you want the viewers to know? That they can go to this website and what?
And log on, and really it'll be, it's people that are in business, or people that, bosses, or people that can nominate people, or people that are in the staff can nominate their people, or parents can nominate their kids for whatever else. We run it again next year.
Excellent.
We had 147 applications, I think, last year. To pick 20 is really tough.
Fabulous. Great job, great work. I commend everything that you're doing. Thank you for being here, and now it is back over to Anna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. Pardon me, thank you, Lorraine. I'm sorry about that. Welcome, Rose. Rose Coutinho is here from Let's Eat Guilt-Free Bakery. And the majority of their baking is not only guilt-free, but it's also gluten-free. Welcome, Rose.
Thanks, Anna, for the invitation.
No problem.
And our bakery is called Let's Eat Guilt-Free.
Yeah.
Because we have products for people that has problems with the diet.
Right.
So
not only gluten, but also with the sugar and dairy
and these kinds of things. So
and you make beautiful things. Look at the spread she brought. It's absolutely amazing.
We have everything at the bakery. It's all gluten-free. We don't have wheat inside the bakery.
None.
None. Okay. And we have certification.
You mentioned that.
Yes.
This is something new for me. I never knew that if it's gluten-free, it's certified.
Certified, yeah.
So that people know?
Yeah, that is, it's safe.
Right.
You know, for celiac people that has disease.
That's right.
And so we have gluten-free and no sugar-added products, gluten-free and dairy-free products. So people could go and eat and guilt-free without guilt, you know?
And it's actually, I will attest, it's absolutely wonderful. It's delicious.
Let's begin.
Can we try a little sample?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. So
let's begin with the Nanaimo bar.
Nanaimo bars, because why? We're in Nanaimo.
Yeah,
why not? We have to try the Nanaimo bar. Now, you have a variety of amazing, amazing things here. Now, what's in this Nanaimo bar, because I know that there's, when I make
a big
it, no,
piece for you.
hang on. So what do you put in this Nanaimo bar then
we
that
know-
would make it? This one's gluten-free?
Yes, everything is gluten-free.
Okay.
And wheat-free too.
Okay.
And we generally make a mix of flours.
Right.
And we play with this mix, and we do different products depending on the mix that we do.
Right.
Okay? So we have, for instance, chickpea bread.
I noticed this. Look at
and
this. This is garfava
This is garfava bread. Sorry about
so,
that.
Garfava meaning garbanzo.
Garbanzo and fava beans.
Fava beans. And I did not know that there's such a thing as fava flour.
Yes, and I talk about chickpea bread because the chickpea is the same color.
Right.
And it's one of our best sellers in the bakery.
And do the different
the
flours have different
yes,
flavors? I got to try this.
We joined the mix to have more tasty things and not have the problem that all gluten-free has, crumbling.
Crumbling, yes.
So you could see, let me cut it for you.
Oh my. We love Nanaimo bars in Nanaimo.
That bread.
Now, this is, okay, this is focaccia bread.
Focaccia bread, yes, to do sandwich.
Not quite the same way my mom used to make it, but it's a savory bread, correct?
Yes, yes. And you could do sandwich, hamburgers, wherever you want. You cut in the middle and put
whatever. You can even make a sandwich out of it. You can stuff it with
and you could also put olive oil, and it will be great. You know, it's delicious. Yes.
Excellent. Rose, this is lovely. We're going to come back.
Okay.
We are going to come back. I want to sample some more, and we want to talk more gluten-free.
For sure.
Thank you. We are going to go now. This time we're going to Lorraine on the main set. Oh, Joan, I'm sorry.
Okay, we're talking about the brain. So there you go. We're talking about the brain, and June is Brain Injury Month. I'm not going to make any allusions to that. I'm here with Mark Busby, who's the Executive Director of the Nanaimo Brain Injury Society, and John Hansen, who is a brain injury survivor himself. And I did not know that June was Brain Injury Awareness Month. Is that the proper terminology?
It is, yeah.
Okay, and it's also the 25th anniversary, the silver anniversary of the Nanaimo Brain Injury Society.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, so we've got that out of the way. We know all about that. And I want to find out a little bit, first of all, about the society itself and the purpose of the society.
So the Nanaimo Brain Injury Society has been, as you say, we've been around since 1988 as a registered non-profit in Nanaimo, and we're here to support people that have experienced brain injury. We do a number of support groups, offer people the help that they may need to continue life after brain injury.
Right, because you say that it's the silent injury, that's how you put it, or the silent epidemic. Maybe you could tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, I think as the term says, the thing about brain injury, it's often hidden. It's a hidden disability. Right. So we may, for example, if we break a leg, it's obvious there's a cast and there's a recovery period.
Right.
But with a brain injury, because it's not seen, it kind of takes on this kind of silent epidemic.
Right. So as far as John is concerned, because you're experiencing this firsthand, how does that manifest itself for you?
Having a brain injury is like Mark says, very, it's a hidden sort of thing. Most of my friends still can't really grasp their head around the fact that I'm not the same person quite that I was before. However, I can put on a brave face, and to most people, they wouldn't know that I had a brain injury unless I actually told them.
Right, because you have a cane, and so that doesn't necessarily correlate with a brain injury for most people.
Not at all. It could be from a knee operation or something like that.
Right, right.
With my particular brain injury, I lost my, I had a fractured skull that went through my inner ear, so my balance was affected fairly significantly.
Right.
Mine's what's called a traumatic brain injuries, but the society deals with all types of brain injury, whether it's medical or trauma-based.
Right, so they give you the support that you need and
it was a
resources?
godsend.
Right.
I didn't know about it until about 18 months into my injury. And once I started going to Mark's, well, the Nanaimo Brain Injury Society, they were able to actually help me with a lot of things with recovery. As he said, with there's the caregivers support group that my wife goes to that helps the other side of the family as well.
Right, and yeah, because you've got the family as well. And you're at 285 Prideaux?
285 Prideaux.
Right, and you're going to be having a couple of events in June.
We have our, sorry, yeah.
Oh, just go ahead and tell me. I know that there's one on June 6th, so maybe you could tell me about that
June 6th is
first.
our Silver Jubilee, so that's our 25th anniversary. That's at BEBAN Park. And then we have an open house on June 26th at 2 o'clock. So that's open to the community, so please come down and meet with us and find out a little bit about what we do.
Okay, so that's at the social center there at BEBAN Park, and are they both events going to be at BEBAN Park, or is the June 6th at?
Oh, sorry,
Prideaux?
June 6th is at BEBAN Park, and the 26th is at Prideaux Street.
Oh, Prideaux. Okay. Well, gosh.
Sorry.
How confusing I can be. Anyway, so then people can find out more by going to your website, which is going to be at the bottom of the screen, and they can, if people need support or if they'd like to get involved in any way, then they can contact you and find out more about this and bring it more out into the light.
Absolutely.
Right?
Perfect.
So thanks very much for being here and letting us know, and I hope that June is a great month for you and that people are aware, that more awareness is brought to this. And we're going to go back to Anna, who's going to be talking more about gluten-free breads and all sorts of goodies over there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. I really appreciate that. At least you got my name right. My apologies yet again. We're back again here with Rose, and look what she cut into. I couldn't believe it.
Yes.
And when we're talking about guilt-free, this is guilt-free.
Yes.
Is it not?
Because it's dairy-free. The cake is dairy-free.
Right.
And no sugar added.
And no
as
sugar,
well.
even better.
And gluten-free.
Looks that great? Can I taste it and see if it tastes as great as it looks? Now, the shortbread cookies as well, I can attest, are to die for. I brought home a bag. Oh,
look
just,
that.
You want to put it down here?
Yes.
And I'll grab a piece. Thank you, my dear, very much. So this, like you said, is no sugar added. What do you use to make it?
Use natural sweeteners.
Wow.
As you cannot say that
No,
no sugar added, huh?
No, I'm surprised.
Yes, and at the
These are
bakery,
natural sugars?
Yes, xylitol and maltitol is especially for diabetics, you know, and so they could eat without guilty because it's delicious. But
it's amazing.
It does not increase their glycemic index.
And since you are an authentic doctor, we know about that. And also your sister Annette is the person who helps make all this fabulous
she's a
stuff.
very creative
Isn't she? Look at
person,
it, amazing.
and do all that amazing things.
Now I'm brought
very
my
proud
son
of her.
to your I brought my son to the bakery, and he loved it. We brought some things home, and actually the shortbread cookies were one of the things we brought home to die for. Love them. Did you make the jam as well? What's inside here?
No.
Is it a jam?
Oh, it's jam, but we bought the jam. We don't make the jam
is it
inside.
sugar-free as well, or no?
Yes, it's sugar-free.
Excellent. Now, explain to me a little bit more about
we
some
could
of the...
say no sugar added.
No sugar added.
Yes.
No guilt.
No guilt.
No guilt. I like that. I like that. So what is in this beautiful thing?
Our quiche. We have veggie quiche, sun-dried tomatoes, and feta with spinach.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's to die for, you know. Amazing.
Oh, you guys must be busy baking all the time.
Yes, all the time, thank God.
And you're on Ross Road, right?
Yes.
Now, when I first came upon and did a little bit of research, I found your wonderful Facebook page, which shows what you guys are baking currently, and what really drew me was like, we're open, come on in. And I thought, yes, let's come in.
Yes, we we are doing a good work on the website and in the Facebook too.
And are you finding a lot of people are requesting
Yes.
this in their diets, right?
Oh, you know.
I got caught. I got
Oh
caught.
yes, you could try it.
I'd love to. It's looking really good. In fact, I do want to.
You know what? That Nanaimo bar is just ultimate.
Nice. It's looking very, very good.
Ultimate.
I'm gonna have to wait till after the show though, because it's just improper other than chocolate everywhere. Or even going, it's pretty improper too. So.
Thank you, Rose. That was
Oh,
amazing.
you're
I
very
really
welcome.
appreciate your coming on. Thank you.
I'm very welcome. You are very welcome. Thank you very much.
No problem.
You know?
Awesome. Well, yes, thank you, Rose, and thank you, Anna, as well, for hooking this up. And
yeah, it was awesome.
I'm not
amazing stuff.
I'm not surprised actually you're a fan of gluten-free baking. Now, did you actually grow up in the 60s?
No.
Okay, so there's no way you. Well, no, that's okay. Is that,
Don't answer that.
yeah, well, that just means there's no chance you could be a flower child. So if you're not a flower child, what do you like baking?
Depend then it'll be what kind of flour am I?
Well, you know, it's. I will say it is very good to make that change though, to be eating gluten-free, because you do have to eventually turn over a new leaf to get on that roll. And actually, you know, my personal trainer told me that my buns were gluten-free as well. And I asked her, like, don't you mean gluten-free? She was like, no, you're doing too much loafing around. So that wasn't good either. So I know this does strudel the line between good and bad television. And please direct all complaints upstairs to the Shaw call zone. And just don't get croissant with them. Oh, all right. So before I fritter away all of your attention, or even worse, get hit in the face with a bear claw, and I'm left for bread, I think we need to move on. So I want to give a big thanks right now to Dodds Furniture for their support. Big thank to Country Grocer for feeding the crew, as well as all of our wonderful chefs on here today. Big thank, of course, to our guests, our volunteers, our staff in front of and behind the cameras. Also, if you do have any show ideas or you want to be featured here on the show, you should email our producer, Melissa Hall. Send her a line at melissa.hall@sjrb.ca. You can actually find the show now on Facebook. Check us out, facebook.com/theshowonshaw. As well, you can find previous episodes of the show on YouTube. Just search us up under the Shaw TV Central Vancouver Island page. So let's send it out now to finish off the show with one more song from No Operator, a track called With All Sides. Thank you so much for watching the show right here on Shaw TV.
Who am I to be faced with this? And on one side I could walk away, and on the other side no life exists. Your wholesome ideals seem to change your dark and truth reigns. Just when you thought you'd had it figured out, your options granted, there is no safe way out. With all sides under attack, you fall back. Then your timing couldn't be much better. In the night, your baby blues give me light to guide me through the darkness I bestowed on you. Who are you to be faced with this? Little one, you're taking on the task of my forgiveness. Regret it takes on many forms through blinding hate, and when the storms I face this battle every day, and I couldn't bear to see your face. This is the choice we've made. With all sides under attack, I fall back. Then your timing couldn't
Dodds Furniture's The Show is brought to you by Dodds Furniture and Mattress.